We have a hometown Lion legend episode for you. Jamie Stoddard joins us, a native of Florence, Alabama, where he graduated from Bradshaw High School. He was a member of UNA's 3 national championship teams in the 90s. Selected to UNA's 50th anniversary football team and the team of the decade, a school record 166 extra points while adding 30 field goals in his career. Jamie Stoddard is our next Lion legend. And Jamie, thank you for the time, and just give UNA fans an update on where life has taken you now.
Well, thanks for having me. Looking forward to this. Well, been practicing dentistry in Florence for 20 years now. Flies by. Live in Muscle Shoals, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, Trey and Macy, and wife Julie, and things going good, very good.
So you're on UNA's 3 national championship teams. We're going to talk through the championship run and your experiences. But you're back in the Shoals area. You've got the dentist practice. Looking back at UNA now, just how special are those memories to you?
Oh man, you just, when you're going through that, you just can't comprehend it. You know, you don't. You're not mature enough to know what was happening really until later. But I can remember the first one being on a bus and taking us in a lot of the older UNA people, how, you know, excited they were. And to us, you know, it was just another game there to some point. You know, we knew it was playoffs or it was championship game. It was a big deal, but we didn't understand how big of a deal. At least I didn't.
So before we get into your UNA career, let's back up. Bradshaw High School. You were a Bruin, played under Steve Mask, and from what we're in the media guides, quarterback, kicker. What was the Friday Night Lights experience like for you?
It was fun. You know, it was a little different playing quarterback and kicking. You know, when I got to UNA, it was, you get to watch, and in high school you were more involved and didn't really get to think about it a lot. You know, you just had to go do it. But it was really good times. I still see some of my friends from high school around, and good memories. We wasn't the best local team for sure, but our senior year, we did get in the playoffs and win the area and things like that. So, yeah, that's been a long time.
So you leave Bradshaw and you actually go to the University of Arkansas to walk on home under Jack Crow, a name familiar with UNA fans, coached at UNA. Take us through the journey from Florence to Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Well, coming out of school, Samford had offered me and recruited, and but for some reason I was just dead set on going to SEC school. And Ole Miss had recruited me, and they had wanted me to come over for starting the summer school. And right before I was going to go over there, Arkansas had went through their spring training. They had a senior kicker, and they really needed somebody to help out and, you know, red shirt and then come through. And they told me they'd travel me. So I went out there. Coach Crow was there, and first game we lost to Citadel, and he was let go. So that semester I had 3 coaches, Jack Crow, Joe Kynes, and Danny Ford. And it was different, to say the least. And, you know, when I came back to UNA, I really wasn't going to play football. I was just going to focus on school and go to dental school. I'd been doing it at the time. It seemed like so long. But then went through that spring, and Coach Wallace, through some people I knew, Lee Morris and some others, were, you know, mentioning coming out, and decided to give it a shot.
So you transfer back, you give it a shot, and what a great time to join up with the Lions. In '92, they were a field goal away from maybe upsetting Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State went on to win the national championship game. Missed field goal late in the ball game. So you come into '93, and you're joining a young core of players, of great players, Ronald McKinnon, Cody Gross. What was it like joining a young team with such high expectations?
Well, you know, I didn't know. I know when I came out, I knew it was going to be different the first week of practice, being around Coach Wallace, it was different than other coaches I'd been around, and just the atmosphere. Ronald McKinnon and a lot of others, they didn't just expect the best from themselves; they expected it from everybody, and that was something I had not been around, and I enjoyed it. It was good. That group of people, coaches, players, it was different from what I'd been around, and I knew from the start it was going to be something special. You'd heard about Tyrone Rush and Brian Satterfield, and getting to watch those guys. I had the best seat in the house. It was pretty good, but you knew pretty quick that the talk and things that there's some good ball players, and if we could come together, and we would have a chance to be pretty good.
That 93 season, your first year, before the playoff run, what are some of your early memories?
I've been thinking, and as time goes by, you don't remember as much of games. There's little snapshots you remember, but it's really the relationships and things. But I know getting there, there was a lot of talk about, they felt like special teams kicking had kept them from some things the year before. So I heard a lot of that. And, so we were charting extra points in August. And I think, we had made snapper and holder and kicker. We had made maybe 120, 130 in a row. And first game, Valdosta State, I'm warmed up and ready to watch the offense, and I think Satterfield breaks a long one, like right off the bat. I didn't even get a chance to really and go out there and bang it off the upright first kick, and I can remember Satterfield coming over and get time. But we knew it was going to be fine. But that was a good memory from that year. And then you get into the playoffs, and a lot of memories there too.
So I want to back up to the first extra point you missed. You missed a field goal as well. So all the kicking troubles in 92, your first two tries don't go probably like you planned. But what about the job Coach Bobby Wallace did, sort of instilling confidence in you and saying, I guess, what did he do for you?
Coach Wallace, he affected a lot of people's lives on the teams. And he used to tell us, go to class, work hard, do the right thing, and things are going to work out. And he had all the confidence. He knew it was going to happen. I hit the balls well, just didn't make them. It just happened to be the first couple of kicks. But he did a really good job of surrounding himself with good coaches and letting them do their job. And that's the way he was with players. He was really good at how to motivate players differently and understanding what motivates individuals. But, there was never a lack of I never doubted his confidence in me. I know I forget what year it was, but it was, I forget what it was a playoff game against Carson Newman. And we made a field goal, maybe to tie it up. It was a close game. And they got a penalty, and we didn't get the first down. He pulled it off the board. He pulled the field goal off, and he had said, "Well, I knew if we needed to kick it again later, Jamie's going to make it." He seemed to have a little more confidence in me a lot of times than I had in myself. But of course, I think AB ran a touchdown the next play, and we didn't have to kick anything. So he was really good about that. He just it's one of those things you just have to be in the situation to know how he motivated you. It wasn't through anger or anything like that. He knew how to motivate people, that's for sure.
Let's jump into the 93 national championship game. And I don't know how much it's been discussed, but UNA drive stalls and you trot out to kick a field goal. And that's when Demetrius Shelton takes the snap, takes off towards the pylon, scores the game's first touchdown. What do you remember of that? Were you expecting that? Was it a fake? Was it a botched snap?
Going into playoffs, my back was hurt really bad. I mean, it was bad, and I couldn't kick well. But from what I'm not going to blame anybody, but I think it was either a bobble snap. But knowing Demetria, he could have had it in his head he was going to do it because he knew he could score. But he got it in, and that was big for sure. But it was not a plan fake, that's for sure.
Being a part of that first national championship, your first year at UNA in Florence, the same stadium you played your high school games in. You remember the thrill of winning it?
Yeah, it was just sort of surreal at the time. I can remember it hitting me more for some reason a couple days later, just thinking, wow, the season's so long. You start in August, 4 days back then. You can't do that stuff now. But it was a long season, and you get worn down. But it was a great feeling. And looking back on it, it didn't hit you for a few days of what we had really done at the time, and then later it even hit you more of how special that was.
Let's jump into the 1994 season. In the playoffs, you had a couple of really big field goals. And let's see what you remember about some of these. The first one, Carson Newman, scoreless in the ball game. You break the ice with a 20-yard field goal to give UNA an early 3-0 lead. UNA will go on to win it 17-13, a tight ball game. But do you remember much about the pressures of stepping out for that ice-breaking kick?
No, there were some kicks that stand out, that when you're in the situation, you think, I got to make this. Portland was a big kick. There was a big kick in that game, I remember. Carson Newman, they were always a good team. That one I don't remember as much of. We may have had a kick blocked that game. One of our Carson Newman kicks was blocked. I don't know what year it was. And I don't remember what year he pulled the field goal off against Carson Newman, but it was playoff and we scored. I don't remember which year that was either. Like I said, it's been a while. I think my kids age me more than anything, but it's just snapshots of certain things that you remember.
Now I want to jump 1 week ahead in the quarterfinals. Valdosta State, UNA led a 17-3 lead, slip away in the fourth quarter. A double overtime win, 27-24. You kicked the game winner. You have any memories of that one?
Yes. I think we had a game earlier in the year against Valdosta. I can't remember if that was the year we played on Thursday night. But, we knew it was going to be a tough game. Didn't know it was going to be that tough. But, I think they may have tried a field goal right before that, and somebody blocked it, Israel or Marcus. I can't remember who. And, I knew I was going to make it. I just wanted to hurry up and kick it and be done with it. And I think that year it may have been Ken snapping and Mo Malone holding. And they did a great job. And just remember hitting it, looking up, and there it was. And it was done.
The 94 championship game, what do you remember about winning that one?
Was that Texas A&M?
Yes.
It may have been rain. I can't remember. Is that the game that Kenyatta ran a long one, touchdown, and that was a close game. Tough game. Texas A&M was always tough. There were some good teams back then. That one was a little different. 93, big offensive year, and then 95, big defensive year. But I think that's what I remember from the 94 is really close game and not the greatest conditions. Back then I didn't have the luxury of getting a kick on turf, and we had narrow goalposts. And if you went to some of the Arkansas schools, it may look like somebody hadn't cut the grass in a few weeks. But at Brawley, back then they played high school games. There was a game every week on Friday nights. And then when we played, so by the playoffs, they did a really good job keeping it up, but it was tough. And if it rained, it made it really tough to kick in, that's for sure.
We've talked with several former players about the 95 team and just how dominant that group was, a group that went out 3-time national champions. And the night before the championship game, a big team meeting, it's been talked about a lot. absolutely dominated the ball game the next day. But take us to your recollection of that team meeting and just how dominant that group was.
Well, some really good leaders on the team. You can go down the list. Jarius Hayes, Ron McKinnon, Keith Humphreys. There was just so many people, but that meeting, it was a brotherhood meeting. We got in there and we started talking about what football meant to us, and it meant a lot. It's not just football to a lot of people. A lot of people have been through a lot and shared a lot about their personal life and what football meant to them. And when you walked out of there, you knew what was going to happen. There was just no question. And that's the way we felt. I don't ever remember playing in a game and not thinking we're not going to win this. It just with that group of guys, you knew somebody was going to do something and turn it around. But that meeting, when you walked out of there, you knew it was done. They might as well have handed out the rings then.
30 career-made field goals, 41-1 record over your 3 years, the 3 national championships. It was a great run, and so you finish up in 95, and take us through your dental school history.
Well, I had another year eligibility, and that's the only probably regret I have. A lot of times people ask, do you regret leaving? No, I don't regret leaving Arkansas. UNA was where I was supposed to be, and I loved it, and I'd do it again. That was my only regret. I had another year eligibility, and at that time in my life, I wanted to hurry up and move on. And, Coach Wallace always supported me in my school, told me, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I went to Memphis to dental school and was there 4 years and came back and that was it.
So now the kicking tradition continues in the Stoddard family. Your son is a kicker at Muscle Shoals, I think heading into his sophomore season. But what's it like sharing that kicking experience, kicking role with him now?
It's different. I try to tell him, going through it, especially at that age, you don't get down on it. You're not going to make every kick. You're just not going to. Go have fun with it. It's hard for him to understand that. It's hard for me to understand that, but he works really hard at it, and he's really good. He's a lot better than I was at that age, that's for sure. But he's had some good experiences with it. He's starting to understand that he enjoys more the friends and locker room, things like that, the things that you're going to remember. He's really enjoying that this year too. But it's different. I think I get more nervous when he's kicking than I ever did. That's just I know that's for sure.
Jamie Stoddard, a great run at North Alabama, and we really appreciate you taking the time to catch up with us.
I appreciate you getting in touch with me and doing this. I've looked forward to it.